Question of the day, what's your favorite abstract movement game? Now, this would be a game like Corridors or something like that. Those very abstract games that don't really have a theme, but they're all about movement. Because today we're taking a look at one that is built on that idea, it feels like, it's subjective, but puts a theme on it, the idea of your treasure hunters in space. But you're doing some Malufia 2 style puzzle movement, as moving as far as you can, hitting a wall, moving from there and going elsewhere in order to collect points at the end of this game. So we are going to take a look at Oort. I think it's Oort, it's 2 O's RT right now. It is an interestingly produced game. It's acrylic that's been etched onto with a little bit of painting, it looks like. Interesting looking game. So let's take a look at Oort right now. So this is Oort. You're going to start by placing your rocket on one of the unoccupied wormholes, and then you'll collect any resources around it. Now, my copy of the game does not have this resource for some reason. We're missing this tonic looking thing. So we're going to be playing with fewer, even though the only thing that matters in the end is because there's a bonus for collecting all 6. Heck, I'm going to say we give 4 points for collecting all 5 because that's just silly that I don't have that in here. But anyway, this has all the resources laid out. There are 15 tiles. You're going to lay those out in a random order. Then you're going to place the resources where they go. Now, what you're going to then do, on your turn, you're going to choose to move orthogonally or diagonally as far as you can go until you hit either the edge of the board or an asteroid, because space in this scenario has an edge. I'm joking. Anyway, we're going to go and stop. Now, if we chose to land on this wormhole, we could have popped up on another wormhole. Let's just say we popped up here at this wormhole, and then you would keep moving that direction. We're going to stop and choose not to use that wormhole. Then we collect resources for what's around us. So we would gain these resources here. Now, the other thing you could do is if you end up landing next to someone, you could raid a resource from that other player. Now, the other thing you can do is the hyperdrive movement. Now, you cannot take anything when you land from hyperdrive, but you can just pick up your ship and move it to any other place. The other thing about wormhole movement, you cannot move through a wormhole twice in a round, so you couldn't just keep going all over the place. It's a one-time deal. But that's how you play Oort. You're going to do this until all resources are collected, and then you're going to count up points based on this chart here with this etched acrylic. See? That's Oort. So that's Oort. First and foremost, you probably heard me sniffing a little bit during the video. Something about this game I'm allergic to, no joke. It has a smell to it. I've never said that about a game before, but the game itself, because of the, I guess the acrylic process, it has a bit of a really kind of almost unpleasant smell. So I'm assuming that will go away, but that kind of took me back. I was like, oh my gosh, this is invading my senses. But anyway, how the game looks is pretty neat. However, in its pluses are also some minuses. So the etching in space looks cool. It looks like space. It's very dark. You know, the black paint or black acrylic. I'm not sure which way this zebra story is, but it's very cool looking with the white etching. However, some of it is hard to see. Some of them didn't transfer as good. Some of them didn't show up the symbols as good. So it's actually kind of hard to find which symbol is where when you're looking to put those treasure tokens out there. But all in all, the game is an interestingly made game. My only other gripe is that the rocket ship in mine was broken because it's easy to break in the packaging because those acrylic is so hard of those tiles. But as far as the gameplay itself, I like the idea of how the game plays, though, of what you're doing. You're moving until you stop and then you're collecting stuff. Now, again, it is a little bit simple in that aspect because all you're doing is moving and getting, moving and getting. But you do have to plan ahead your turns, maybe 2-3 times turns at a time, in order to get yourself positioned right. And using the hyperdrive helps, as well as the wormhole. So you aren't stuck. You can't ever get stuck in a place. But it does cause you to think, okay, if I move here, then the next turn I can move here. So it's almost like a solo chess. Now, yes, it is a multiplayer game, but really the only interaction there is taking from other people. So if you like Corridor and games like that, I think you'll enjoy this one. If you're not a fan of movement-based games and abstract games, then you can totally skip this. Interesting production, interesting look, but at the end of the day, it's okay. It's okay for me. It's not the game that I'm going to go be like, oh, we've got to play this. So at the end of the day, if you like movement games and stuff, you'll find some joy in this. But for me, I'm going to pass on Oort. So that is my review of Oort. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. Dice Tower Brian. Until next time, we'll see you.